So here we are, drifting on an open sea. Here we are, and then again we know. For all we know, I know. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I was just burning some sage here. Some Bushkote Jibik. Some sage. Bushkote Jibik. And I was going to ask the Great Spirit, Gitche Manadu, to help me. So I'm going to say, Gitche Manadu, we took a wishin'. Help me. Help me to talk to these kids about this very emotional subject. Today I would like to talk about, or try to talk about again, what to do when your pet dies. How to cope with the Niboan. How to cope with death of your Bami Agans. Bami Agans of your pet. So, it's a tricky subject to talk about. It's not the kind of thing that they like to talk about in schools. Your teachers, they're afraid to talk about issues of life and death and the spirit world. And for me, this all started a few years ago, about 3 years ago. I lost my princess. I had a little white cat. And me and Princess lived together for about 8 years, maybe. And, I just loved that kitty. But she was really old. And eventually she passed away. She became a spirit. She started her journey. And she went off to the land of everlasting happiness. But it was really hard. And since that time, I've learned a lot about grief and about, these heavy subjects. And so something's been telling me, I should try to talk about this with you guys. So today, our Ojibwe word of the day, Niboan, death. And so let me start by saying, there's nothing wrong with talking about death. It's the most natural part of life. It's, they say life is ultimately fatal. From the moment we're born, we begin to die. And it really freaks out some people, And nobody knows when you should talk about it with kids. And everyone kind of goes, well, I'm not going to say anything. Let the parents talk about it. But I'm going to talk about it because you're on YouTube and you probably were looking around something to help how you're feeling. So let's assume it's happened or it's going to happen. You have this pet and you just love your pet. And for a lot of people, their pets, they're more. This is one thing I learned. There are 3 types of people. There are those like farmers. They love their animals, sure. But the day will come where they got to cut off their heads and they're not going to lose any sleep over it. And then there's the second kind of person. They have a dog or they have animals. And they love them too, to a degree. But the dog's got to sleep outside. I'm not going to let that dog inside. And then there's people like you and me. People who their pets become, family members. You give them everything that you can think of to make their lives better. You give them only the best food, or at least what they love, and the healthiest food. You clean up after them. You make sure they get enough exercise. And somebody says, if you ever want to know who loves you more, unconditionally. Put your dog and your wife in a trunk for 1 hour and drive around town and then let them out and see who's more happy to see you. So your pet, your dog, your cat, your whatever, they're part of our hearts. And so if you're if you're facing the inevitable, it's time to say goodbye to this person, not the person, this pet, this animal you love so much. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say this too. I mean, I know for little kids, they get a goldfish who dies and people are like, oh, let's have a funeral. But kids, if you have a fish, that's not the same thing. Fish are not pets. They're decoration or food. Because a fish can't tell what you are. To you, you're just big colors. Big color comes and fills the sky and food rains from above. That's what you are to a fish. They don't love you. They're not. Quit pretending like your fish is your pet. But everything else, you can really become attached to. So, what was I saying? All right. So the day comes and your heart's broken. Let me say on behalf of the rest of the world, welcome to the club. For some of yous, this may be the first time that your heart is broken. Everyone's always like, oh, they write these songs and you see movies and, gee, that guy's, his heart's broken. I wonder what that's like. Well, here it is. This is what it's like. It washes away all your other tears. It makes you wonder, why did I even care about those other things? I don't even care because now my heart is broken. My little Rover, he's passed away. He's gone on to the happy hunting grounds. And so it's really tough, but here's what you do. Number one, don't rush it. It takes some time. For some people, they can grieve for a weekend. For some people, it'll be a year. For some people, it'll be 10 years. You don't know. But don't worry about it. There's no bad way to feel grief, because grief is not depression. This is not, I'm sad and I need a pill. Doctor, can you give me an antidepressant pill? I'm grieving the loss of my pet. They're not going to give you that because you don't need it. This is grief. Good grief, Charlie Brown. It's different than depression. I'll talk about depression one day too. But grief is this intense feeling of loss. And it's equal to the level of love that you have for your pet. So, that's the bitter other side of love, is that your grief will be that much greater. For as happy as you've been, the loss will feel that much greater. But it's not depression. It's not, you'll feel sad and then you'll laugh at some certain memories. And then finally, let me just say this because it's getting to be long. You don't feel like getting another pet. You might be saying to yourself, I'm never going to go through that again. That's what I said. Well, that's it for getting cats. Forget it. I can't handle it. But then I heard this really wise thing once. This guy goes, you don't honor your gifts by never getting over it when they go away. It's like, if you really want to honor the memory of someone you loved, then carry it on. Do first for another pet. And so that's what I did too. I mean, it took a while, But a couple of years went by, and I got another cat, and I named him Bagheera. And I immediately started to compare him to Princess. Bagheera would do something naughty, and I'd be like, "Hey, Bagheera, Princess never once did that. Why can't you be more like Princess?" Nah, I'm just kidding. So Bagheera came into my life, and then, it doesn't replace anything. You'll always hold in your heart memories of that pet who went on. But you will recover, and you'll find more love that you can give to another pet. So hang in there. I know it's tough, but you're gonna get through this. It's hardest because for a lot of you might be doing this on your own. Sure, grandma dies and the whole family's grieving. Rover dies and it seems like you're the only one who cares. So where's Rover's funeral? He was my best friend. All right, so that's all I wanted to say. Bami Agans is a pet. Naboan is death. And so this has been, discussions on death of a pet. Yeah, let's call it that. Discussing death. All right. Well, hey, I hope this was helpful. And with that, I'm just gonna say, miigwech ganawabiyeg. Thank you for watching. BOOZHOO, Nano BOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Nano BOOZHOO, and I will see you again. Gigawaba min, minowa, hoa. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Leave a comment too. Sunlight streams through window pane onto a spot on the floor. Then I remember it's where you used to lie, but now you are no more. Our feet walk down a hall of carpet, and muted echoes sound. Then I remember it's where your paws would joyously abound. A voice is heard along the road and up beyond the hill. Then I remember it can't be yours. Your golden voice is still. But I'll take that vacant spot of floor, an empty muted hall, and lay them with the absent voice, an unused dish along the wall. I'll wrap the treasured memories in a blanket of my love and keep them for my best friend until we meet above. See, I told you I was sad. All right.